Did you know? The original Donkey Kong Country was planned to have an opening cutscene. Rare designer Greg Mayles shared some of the game's documents over Twitter, one of which would have told the events of the game's story. A storyboard showed Kremlings putting Diddy in a barrel and stealing the banana horde, with the hole leading to the horde made by a Krusha breaking in. This was explained in the final game through the instruction manual, and the cutscene later made its way into the remake on Game Boy Advance. A document dating back to August 1993 showed a wide range of concepts for the game's animal buddies. Ideas included a flying pig, a mole who'd dig underground, and an owl who'd give out information. A name sheet from March 94 shows the latter two were named Hooter and Miney. Neither made the final cut, though a similar pig design later appeared in Donkey Kong Land with the hogwash enemy. The sheet also shows Candy Kong had alternate names Blondie Kong and Honey Kong, and that prior to Country, the game was then known as Donkey Kong's Monkey Mayhem. Other design docs showed keys playing a role in unlocking extras. Animal buddies would be locked in cages and could only be freed with a key that resembled the animal, and the same applied for extra lives. They thought about doing this for Diddy Kong, then known as Junior, but decided it was better if he was readily available. Barrels were used in Country, being a carryover from the arcade series that felt appropriate in the new universe. Donkey Kong's tie also came from the suggestion of Nintendo veteran Shigeru Miyamoto and debuted in Donkey Kong on Game Boy, released several months before Country. Mayles also expanded on how a typical level was made. The team would think of ideas for enemies and features and draw them out on post-it notes before putting it all together with items and bonuses. Level concepts shared included Country's first level, Jungle Hijinks, as well as Toxic Tower and Animal Antics from Country 2. The game's music also had a similar process starting off. When composer David Wise was brought on for the soundtrack, he believed it was just a temporary job and someone at Nintendo would eventually do the score. For his demo, he made 3 pieces of music to present to Rare co-founder Tim Stamper. Liking all 3, Tim asked Wise to combine the samples into one track, with that theme becoming DK Island Swing, used in the jungle levels. Contrary to popular belief, Wise wasn't the sole composer for the project. Evelyn Novakovic also helped with the score, and one track was adapted from Robin Beanland, a track originally for Killer Instinct that became the theme for Funky Kong. According to Rare, DKC had the most man-hours put into a single video game at the time, spanning 22 years across the development team. It was also the first Nintendo product launched in the UK before all other regions, released on November 18th, and by 4 PM the following day it already raked in £1 million. To this day, it stands as Rare's best-selling game and the 3rd bestseller for the Super Nintendo, second only to Super Mario All-Stars and Mario World. The game had a marketing budget of $3.76 million, and one product to come from it was a VHS called DKC Exposed, sent to subscribers of Nintendo Power. Featured in the video for a few seconds is Michael Kelbaugh, then product tester for Nintendo, who would later go on to become the current president of Retro Studios, an eventual developer for the Donkey Kong series. In honor of DKC2's 20th anniversary, Mayles once again shared early concepts he had for the sequel. One had the character Clubba as boss of the Lost World before being swapped with K. Rool, with some of his attacks being used by the World 2 boss Cudgel in the final game. Another was to find an exclusive cheat code in Cranky's museum to be used for the SNES port of Killer Instinct. The museum still features a KI arcade cabinet, plus a poster of Fighter Chief Thunder. Cranky's tent in the Kremland overworld map also reads KI here, surrounded by several Killer Instinct machines. When the team decided to give Diddy Kong a girlfriend, they were concerned the established DK Candy Kong pairing would clash with it, so the two were stashed away for the sequel, with Candy being completely absent. Dixie Kong was also known as Diddy Ann throughout most of the game's pre-production, and much like when trying to pinpoint a title for the game, there were many potential names for Dixie that Mayles referred to as of mixed quality. Names ranged from Didette, Darlene, and Dee Dee to less serious names like Dicky Licky, Demigod, and Dem Girls They All Love Me. Banana animals were another concept Mayles drew up, serving as a way to score additional bananas. The banana bird did make its way into DKC3, though they served an entirely different purpose, and the game was handled by another internal team at Rare. Though sold to Microsoft come 2002, Rare was still permitted to make games for Nintendo's handhelds as Microsoft had no stake in that market. As such, they were allowed to remake the Country trilogy on Game Boy Advance starting in 2003. In 2011, an ex-Rare employee under the pseudonym Stampers got in touch with fansite DKVine and talked about the trilogy's development. All 3 games were completely coded from scratch. The original game assets were on floppy disks, though Rare could barely make out the file formats of what they still had. To get the look of the originals on the Advance, the artists used SNES emulators and went through each game frame by frame, taking snapshots along the way. They added extra frames not present in the originals to smooth out certain animations and had redone all backgrounds from the ground up. Another issue was getting the physics to match the SNES counterparts 1-to-1. Stampers expanded on this, saying, there'd be times where QA reports would come back saying something like, in the original you could do a rolling jump off the edge of this ledge and reach that ledge, but you can't on the GBA one. So we'd adjust it until it worked, then get a bunch of reports saying, you can reach this area by rolling and jumping, and you're not supposed to. They also addressed problems of the original controls, notably with Ellie the Elephant and the toboggan from Country 3, as well as the overall flow of the level design. The handheld team felt like they truly got the hang of it by the release of the third game, and thought about following up with a 2.5D sequel on the Nintendo DS, tentatively titled Donkey Kong Country 4, though Stampers had said it was nothing more than just an idea they threw out there, opting to do a remake of Diddy Kong Racing instead. For Country 3's remake, an entirely new soundtrack was done by David Wise, with the originals done primarily by Novakovic. The team were hoping to have both soundtracks available in the game, but it proved to be too much work and little cartridge space by the end of the project. Amidst the new content, it also features several boat mini-games at Funky's Rentals, all of which are based on levels of Rare's NES game Cobra Triangle. The games Destroy, Disarm, Protect, and Race are closely structured to their inspirations, and debug text even refers to the music track for the games as Cobra Track. Did you also know that Diddy Kong's design was partly inspired by a UKT commercial? For more facts, check out the DidYouKnowGaming video on Diddy Kong. And if you want to check out one of my videos, here's a review I did up for the 20th Pokemon movie, I Choose You. How does it stack up to the other films? Does it deliver on nostalgia? And what do I think of a certain scene in particular? You know the one. Only one way to find out!